Hey, welcome back. Today let's just talk sincerely about handling rejections, refusals, the word no, declinations in our quest of rising, in our quest of becoming who we desire to be, in our pathway of climbing the ladder to greatness. Just a few seconds after the break, we'll continue. Welcome back once again. Okay, I observed, or should I say personally, I seem to believe that rejection, refusal, the word no, phenomena that we minimize their effects, their real effect on our psychological being, on our well-being. We just try to generalize it that, in your quest for success, be ready to embrace failure, be ready to accept refusals. We generalize the context, we just brush it. I think that's the expression. We'll brush past its realities. Permit me to be sincere with you that it's not everyone, it's not everyone that has the courage to sincerely brace up after a rejection, especially rejections that come from what you've placed so much high expectations on, what you've so much longed for, what you've been dreaming of having, that, I just know it's got to work out, situations that has engulfed all your effort, day in, day out, researched everything, just to pack it, to brand it up, and you were rejected. Permit me to tell you this plain truth, that it's not everyone that has the courage to move ahead. There are two categories of people that don't move ahead. There are some that make a U-turn. I was like, no, I can't just continue. Let me just stay back here. Whatever will be, will be. I'm fed up of going. I'm fed up of trying. And there are some that silence their existence. Yes. They commit suicide. They give up. This is applicable in all aspects of life, even in relationship. I've heard of a young man that's so shy and timid, and there was a lady he has been, secretly in love with for years. And when he finally holds the courage to approach her, after months of preparation, improved self-esteem and the likes, and the lady insulted him, the man committed suicide. You might be thinking these are just stories that you read or you watch on screen. No, I've seen people close to me that they'll tell you, if this is the case, I can no longer continue. Excuse me. Let me just go back. Let me just, stay where I am. And I keep wondering, despite the millions of quotes and, sweet quotations on failure, handling failure, being prepared for success, the reality is you cannot attestate to the degree of your preparation to approach failure just by preparing ahead. Not until you find yourself in those shoes, you cannot attestate of how prepared are you. The gravity differs. I don't know if someone is getting what I'm trying to say. The gravity differs. Many of us feel so wounded, reduced. Many of us will feel so insulted just by that word, no. I'm sorry. We can't do this. I'm sorry. We can't partner with you. Many have lost their life savings on this. And how do we handle this? That's the question. I want you to take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath first. Release all grudges, all bitterness. It's not your fault. It's not the other person's fault. The fault might have been from anywhere. I intentionally said it's not your fault because you don't need to. I'm not here to make you feel much more bitter or being harsh on yourself. No, demon. That's not my objective. That's why I said you just need to take a deep breath first and release every bitterness. Failure is part of life. Human beings are the one destined to fail. Not animals, not trees, not lifeless objects, not your car. No. Human beings by default are the one programmed to encounter failure. You don't expect your plant, your laptop to encounter failure. No, to be rejected. No. It's human being. We humans that are breathing, that are programmed to encounter failure. So register that. It is part of our default system. It's part of our existence. Now the second thing is, how do we truly handle it? You've read a lot of books, you've read about quotes, you've seen a lot of write-ups, blogs, articles. But I'm here to truly connect with you. Anytime you feel a rejection, anytime you encounter a rejection, do something to compensate it. Yes. Should I say, for every rejection, double the progress. You might say, oh, it's easier said than done. I've invested so much energy. I've invested so much money and time. Exactly. And that is why you need not to stay at that level. If not, if you consecrate the same level you consecrated before, it will or it might not work out. However, things that work out sometimes might be things we're less invested on, as in investing our time, our resources and energy. So what I would just say is, for every single failure, double every input. Should you send out a proposal to a company, it was rejected, for that singular failure, send out another 2. So let's imagine you were rejected 10 times this week. I'm expecting you to send out 20 letters next week. Why? By doing this, sometimes it's better if you do it out of annoyance. Yes, let's be sincere. You have the right to be annoyed. As in being mad at yourself, being mad at those that cause it. Were like, what? This is an insult to my pedigree, an insult to my dignity. I can do this. Why will you take someone else lower than me? No, it's not jealousy on head. It's just like an healthy anger. And I want you to channel that healthy anger in doubling up. Like, I'm going to prove you. It's a wrong source of motivation, but sometimes to face that pain of failure, you need to adopt some healthy strategies, to manipulate things to work for yourself. Instead of letting it go as a wasted effort. Rather than sit sober and keep ranting, yeah, I don't know why I did this. Just like within yourself, tell them that, and I'm going to prove to you that I can do this. And what does that lead to? Doubling up the effort. Like, I am going to get this at all costs. You have to have that strength, that mentality that not until I get to the end of this, I'm not going to stop. As in, you rejected me. After this, okay, no problem. Let's wait and see. When you have that strength and energy rescheduled within you, it gives you a strange push, and that's the word. Because that strange push cannot be generated naturally, no. Because it's backed up with bitterness, it's backed up with anger, it's backed up with frustration. The only way we can transform that sentiment is channeling it to a strong push of annoyance. That this, I'm gonna do it. I just wish you would grasp what I'm trying to say. And this has always worked for me. Though most times it might take longer than expected. But I've always fight my failures. I've always fight my failures. That's just the word. Fight your failures. Don't allow it to get into you. It's tough. If it involves you taking your journal, write it down. If it involves you taking a pen, write the date and say, this cost me tear. And I am going to get it, no matter what. So even if you're going to encounter 20 failures along the way, let's keep pushing you. Turn them to an ocean of push, to a wave of strong tides. Failure is inevitable. Let's be sincere. We are human. Others too, they have their reasons. Yeah, you might be gifted where you are, you might be the best from where you're coming from, but that doesn't mean that everyone will open their hands wide open to embrace you, to accept you work for them, to accept you display your professionalism, to accept you display your gift, your talent. Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with us. Sometimes it is the other party. It might be sometimes from their sense of insecurity that they might feel threatened by you. Sometimes a lot of people are not improving in their sphere. And when they see a new young sharp, brilliant, apt, becoming an expert to be good in what he or she does, they try to protect their zone of influence. Yes. They are scared of you penetrating into their zone and you reducing them to be a failure, or you exposing their laziness, their inaptitude. Are you getting that? So sometimes it's like that. Everybody wants to remain king in his own territory. We are all naturally conditioned that way. So definitely most times it's not all about you. So why not just give it another try elsewhere? And you will be shocked that with little or less effort, it might flourish. You will be accepted. I hope this is going to encourage someone out there, engage someone out there to take the next line of action. Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. It has something much more to do with the other party. A lot of people easily feel threatened. A lot of people easily feel insecure, incapacitated when they see someone else. And some, it might be from jealousy, from envy. Yeah, you've done nothing wrong. It's natural. I have experienced that. I just said, the moment I was introduced to someone, immediately there was this overwhelming sense of jealousy. And the person, I was like, oh, we're just meeting. So it's natural. These are things that exist. We need to start preparing our hearts to expect the worst from men. Human beings are full of surprises. So, and the last thing I want to share with us also is surround yourself with those that will keep pushing you, those that keep believing in you. Never stop improving despite all rejection. One day, there was a time I was starting out in a field and I was telling myself that I know it is impossible not to make it. Yeah. If you be diligent in something, it is impossible not to get it. How long, how far, how soon, how fast, I don't have the answer. So establishing that in my mindset, I said, if it's going to take me 3 years, for others they might get it in a month, but if it's going to take me 3 years, I'm going to get it. I already blocked my mind to expect the worst. And you'll be shocked and surprised. I got it in 2 months. Exactly. So, but I kept working. I kept developing the skills needed. I kept doing what is needed. And that's what I'm going to tell you. Multiply your failures by 2 in doubling up your effort. And you imagine how great, how good you will be when you will finally get what you're looking for. It's going to be outrageous. I just believe this has helped someone out there. This has lightened the burdens of your heart. You are not that bad. There is a place for you. Yes, the gift of a man should make a way for him, but it's not that easy. Not everybody will know you. Not everybody will attestate of you. Not everybody will give you a platform of expression. But when you're ready for the worst, tell yourself, I'm expecting to have 50 rejections before I get the first step. So definitely, it's not depending on you. How wide do you want to expatiate your 50 rejections, or how brief? You can say, okay, within 2 weeks, I must send out 50 proposals. Within 2 weeks, I must send out 150 adverts. And I'm not expecting anyone, but you are just deciding to learn from every rejection. And that is how it is. Failure can be so painful, can be so demoralizing. I understand. I fail every time. But I keep rising. And this makes me attain a higher level, a step higher than where I was. Should you keep pushing? What you don't know is you're pushing, you're actually moving. Yeah, a big failure gave you a blowback, but you don't fall back. Keep pushing, keep pushing. The truth is, as long as you're pushing, you are actually advancing. Because you are trying to what happened again? Why? What happened again? What is it I'm not doing well? You go online, you browse it out. You are actually learning. Failure is the fastest way for me to learn. Yes, I must be sincere with you. I learn faster through failures. The moment I detect a flop here, it will not repeat itself again. And why not make this a principle for you? Should you zero up your mind, you remain stagnant, you even diminish, because you will fall back to your comfort zone. And that is how it is. And you too in future, you're going to see someone too that is bringing new ideas, new expertise, what will you do? You do the same. You rise up and block, because it reminds you of your previous hurt. It reminds you of being incapacitated. It reminds you of, oh, there was a time I wanted to do this, but I couldn't. It makes you uncomfortable. So, and that's how the circle keeps going around and around. Let's step out of this. Embrace failures, even when they are tough. See you next time.